We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 2058, and it's Friday. We are talking about case study number 5. This person is a young, outgoing Southern Californian, generating high 6 digits, flipping land in a single county, maybe 2 counties.
And he's really funny.
And he's fun to be around.
Yeah.
Every time we talk to him, he's driving around. He's got
Easygoing.
a dynamic personality.
Totally.
And the deals that he brings to us for our review and just in general, because all these case studies are former career path people, are all different. He doesn't. He just seems to be able to understand the math of this and then some. Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum and take a deep dive into land-related topics by your request.
Okay. Joseph wrote, "Hey folks, so someone wants to pay me $20,000 in cash, in person, for a property that I'm selling, and that is asking price. This seems sketchy to me. But as someone who used to run an all-cash business, I understand what it's like to have money burning a hole in his pocket. I also understand that there's fake cash out there that people try to use, and you better believe I bring my verification pen to closing. Can anyone come up with other reasons not to do a cash sale? Has anyone encountered this before?"
Well, I'm on two sides of the fence here, on both sides of the fence. Please just check to see. There's an IRS implication for every single thing that we do as business owners, really as just citizens of this country. And being a former accountant, that's the first thing that enters my mind is, what's the Internal Revenue Code say about this? Chances are they're going to say you're required to do some reporting about, hey, this transaction happened. Number one. Number two, you could never do escrow. I mean, this is not an escrow sale. So you would meet, you would meet somebody
at the escrow office and then start counting out cash on piles on the desk. Could you imagine?
They would never accept that.
True.
They would never accept cash in a deal, which is too bad, but that doesn't matter. This would be a deal where you're preparing a deed for a property that you own, conveying it to this new person. You'd have to have a long conversation about how you want it conveyed, what day, and fill out all that stuff, and create a document, sit down, and then very quickly take his cash and sign and hand him this executed deed over, and that's it. So
preferably not at a McDonald's.
So who doesn't want $20,000 of cash in their closet? By the way, no one.
That's the bummer.
Everybody wants that.
Do you know what the bummer is? I have no trouble with the cash part of this. Not at all. Like, I'll take the cash. I understand the issues, but it's the stupid legal stuff that stops us, and it's dumb. But you have to pay attention to that. We don't want you to get in any big trouble. Don't want any audit coming your way, Joseph.
I know for sure this is reportable. For sure, this is income.
I wonder if there's an amount you can do up to like 10,000 or something that you can do this.
I mean, the numbers. Again, one of the first things that comes to my mind is that you can go to the bank in your own bank account and withdraw, 10,000. I think the number's 13,000 now, without any reporting by the bank. As I understand it, the bank is not required to report anything. But cash and cash transactions are the federal government. It's their bane of existence. Yeah. They chase this is what money laundering is all about. The cash is very focused on right now. When we started this business, we had people coming to us all the time, precious metals, jewelry, all kinds of things, and this is 30 years ago for me, and so that was not tracked, or was not as big of a concern as it is now. So just be careful. It sounds like if you can test $100 bill for authenticity, you're way ahead of most of us.
Yeah, it's a pen.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a little pen just to make sure it's real.
I've never seen this before.
Oh, well, you've never worked a little retail job with a cash register then, have you?
No, have you?
Yes, I've worked that.
When was this?
Oh my God, it was a lot of years ago.
They had a pen?
Oh yeah, there's a pen that you run on you did on the paper that it's real. Yes. I'll show you. You know what? Next time we're in Staples, I'll show you the little pen. I'll find a little money pen. So
Today's topic, case study number 5. This guy is amazing. He runs around like a crazy person, goes and sees every property that he buys and sells. He loves mobile homes. He loves small houses. He buys and sells land.
Info lots.
He's very often the example of what to do when Jill and I have uh, former successful transactions that we review in our Thursday call.
Yeah, he brings good ones.
So, what comes to mind when you think of this guy?
Oh my gosh. What's funny is he hasn't expanded his footprint very much. He happens to be in an area that he's in. He knows it obviously
He
like the
lives
back
there.
of his hand. And there's just so much deal changing all the time of all different property types that there's so much to choose from. Like, so he'll never get bored. And we've talked about that. Back in the day, there were counties that we did that I'm like, I could just retire in this county. I can never leave this county, like, for example, Dallas County, in Texas. You could just, or Fort Worth. You could do all your deals and do, what if you did 2 deals a month, 2 really good deals a month? So 24 deals a year. You would be like, yeah, I guess you're right, Jill. I could stay in one county, a healthy county in Texas that's growing. And that's my whole business model. Well, so it's kind of like that, what he does. But what's unique about him is he was never afraid of money, never afraid
Yeah.
of how much things cost, never just he assesses a property that sells for 50,000 the same way he assesses a property that sells for 500,000. It's just that's a different thing, big deal. It's all the same stuff. And he's getting into, and he has a history too of solving problems. Like,
He's fearless. You're
yeah,
right. Nothing stops him.
he's like, oh, I already got this probate attorney. I did it. I used him a year ago. He solved this. I'll bring him in on this one. I know this, and I just learned about this little nugget of information as I move into this type of property. I'm like, what?
Dynamic personality.
Yeah, he asks questions, but he's not annoying. He asks really
Hmm.
good, intelligent, smart questions. And lately, he hasn't asked a lot of questions. Basically, it's like, I'm doing this deal anyway. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Kind of questions. Like, I just want your feedback because I already know how it's going to go, and I already did 3 over here. But I was just curious on your take on it. Is usually how it's going because he'll bring a deal up. We're like, wow, I love it. He's like, well, good because I'm closing tomorrow. Like, this is great. Oh,
There's some huge advantages to operating in 1 or 2 counties that are
yeah.
in a metropolitan or outside of a metropolitan area, and we see that as a reoccurring theme in
Mhm.
Career Path, where people will come in, and he's one of them. I already have this operation. I already have this thing. I joined Career Path because I'm not sure I'm buying real estate correctly, or
Mm.
I could use an improvement on how I'm buying real estate, and he is
Mhm.
that candidate. One of the huge obvious advantages is you get to know the place really well.
Mhm.
So Jill and I are like that in 2 separate states. There's a couple of counties specifically that there's not much that could go on there that I'm not going to be able to know
Mhm.
exactly what it's worth. If a property comes back and I can say yep or nope very, very
Mhm.
fast
Because there's so much data
because I have decades. Yeah,
and
so much data and
experience.
just decades of where things are growing, where they're not, and why.
Mhm.
And he has taken that to a great place for himself.
True.
And then it's very logical once you're doing that with some type of real estate. I think for him it was houses to convert that to land
Mhm.
or convert it to mobile homes or strip malls or whatever because you know the area so well.
Yep.
So we've had that happen many times with people who come into Career Path. We've never heard their names. They're not part of Land Academy. They just know about us. They listen to the show, listen to this podcast, and realize I could be, or maybe it's a real estate agent. In a lot of cases that happens. I'm a
Mhm.
successful real estate agent. I should be buying these properties and reselling them.
Mhm. For myself, not helping somebody else, kind of thing.
Right. This guy is one of these. Really, all these people this week. This guy specifically, whatever he goes and does, he's going to be amazing at it.
Well,
He
you know
just
what's
doesn't know how
interesting?
to fail.
There's usually a tweak. Everyone has left. Not one person has ever said, "Well, thanks a lot. That was a waste of time. I didn't get anything out of it." No
I've
way.
never heard that in my life.
If anything, we've got people now. I think they're coming back for a third time.
Wow,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah, I'll let you know. But we definitely have 2 timers for sure back in Career Path every session. We feel like it was 3 years ago. You got me from $250,000 a year to $500,000 a year, and I've been hanging out at $500,000 a year. Now I want to go here, and I know there's some tweaks to my system and that need to be made, and I know there's some new things that we look at here that I can do, or gosh, I just know that if I had the right partner, I could really take this to the moon. So if that's the one reason you're thinking about doing that too, that's a career path.
That's a super interesting point, Jill, because when we started this, when Jill and I started Land Academy 14 years ago, it'll be 15 years next year, and we were doing real estate deals together at least 5 years before that, and then I've been doing it for 30 years. And so when we started Land Academy, it was we were immediately met with, that can't work. We were constantly having to prove the concept to people. We haven't proven a concept to anyone in years and years.
Nobody asks that anymore.
What they're saying now is exactly what Jill said, and I need to. Yes, this works. Yes, I made a couple $100,000 last year. I'm having real trouble going from $180,000 a year to $500. So it's actually really it feels great not to have to explain myself about why the proof of concept's long gone.
That's true.
It works.
Exactly.
You just got to do it.
Yep. What do you mean you send out mail and they call you back and you buy the land and then you mark it up and you sell it?
That's what you do.
Online.
That's it.
At least for double. What? Like, yeah. That was a
You know what? I would say that too.
Yeah.
If I was, 22 years old, somebody said, yeah, this is what you do.
So
just what you just said.
Yeah. And so I would go, well, what do I know? We've only done 16,000 deals. We're still testing it. I'll let you know when we hit 20,000. Maybe then we'll know it's a real thing. That's good.
Join us next week for 5 more interesting episodes. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.